Good day everyone, this is Dude. Welcome back to my channel. So today's topic is dealing with pain, specifically with trigeminal neuralgia. Now, this will relate to other nerve pains as well. However, as a disclaimer now, there will be some harsh language used and some terminology some people may not like. This is your warning now. I'm gonna be honest about some things, and to do that, I need to give some better clarity to trigeminal neuralgia as it is. But as with the previous two videos, in the background I have a plastic duck simulator as something calming to look at as I talk about a very difficult issue. So, to give people a better understanding, if you're trying to look up trigeminal neuralgia in Google, if you type suicide disease, you will find it as the first result in most cases. Depending on some locations that might change. But yeah, it has a fun moniker because in the past about 25% of the people who have this condition tended to off themselves. Thankfully, with modern medicine, that has improved, but it's still a high rate. So to say that this condition is extremely painful and gets to you is an understatement. And all the pain management techniques I'm going to suggest, they might not work for you or the person you're listening to this for. Everyone is different. Everyone has different tolerances, allergies to certain meds. Some meds work better, some don't work as well. For example, I've been prescribed many a different opioid, and you know, nothing like going, this did nothing for the pain and I didn't even get a little high. I don't see what the big fuss is about. But I know that's me. It doesn't affect me in that way, so it was just double disappointment, as it were, since it did nothing to even help me forget about pain for a bit. So, the simplest one to talk about is medications. So, this is where you always work with physician, hopefully neurologist, when you're still trying to get the disease diagnosed. You will get to try all kinds of different things. I tried sumatriptan for migraines to see if that would help take away some of the pain. Many an opioid, a few things. Again, thankfully, I had a great doctor who is my primary care specialist. So she knew that I wasn't looking for pills. I was looking for it to stop hurting. So, yeah, that was a lot of trial and error before moving forward. There are a lot of different medications that are used for trigeminal neuralgia. Tegretol is usually the first and main one, which is also a seizure medication. There are several newer ones. I did try those. They didn't work so well for me. Lyrica, I forget the generic for that. It's one of the pricier ones either way. That one is actually fairly decent, but even that kind of wanes in how well it works over time, to the point where I was on max dosage of that, and that's not a great one to be on max dosage of. The side effects, especially for me, was weight gain, a few other little oddities, and getting off of it. That was a fun 2 weeks easy to a month of withdrawal. Upside, I lost a lot of weight the following year when I finally got off that, over 100 pounds. But again, everyone's experience will vary how the medications work with you, and again, you need to work with neurologists or other physicians to find out what works for you and balances. I've even tried injectables like a Jovi, which is for migraines, where you inject yourself once a month. Thankfully, those are an auto injector. You place it against, you push one button, and it automatically goes in. Still not fun, but I'll be honest, a needle is nothing. The pain will drive you crazy to the point where it's going, I understand the viewpoint of those 25%. Thankfully, I'm too stubborn for that. Although I did ask my wife at least weekly to kill me when it was flaring. So, yeah. Anyway. So, one of the things that did work for me, and this is one that is definitely going to vary per person, is meditation. Now, it is very hard to get into any type of meditative state when you're in that much pain. My key thing is I focused on something very minor, can be like a show, something to kind of put yourself in a trance where you're not heavily thinking over anything in particular, just something light in the background is sometimes what I focus on a show. Like, if you've seen a show a million times, you know it beat by beat. You can have that as just that odd little focal point where you can be watching but not watching it. And it just focuses. And it kind of helps you overcome pain, or at least stop constantly thinking of, okay, don't touch face, don't smile, don't do anything that might trigger. One of the simpler things to do is to avoid things that'll cause you emotions, as weird as that sounds. So anything that'll cause you to laugh, that can easily cause a flare-up. In particular, anything that will make you tear up is horrific. Because when you start to cry, you start getting nasal congestion, which adds some sinus pressure, and that low extra bit of pressure on the nerve means you're going to have severe flare-ups if you're in that condition. So, now, there are some methods I hadn't tried. Talking to some other doctors, they said that I qualified, which was medical marijuana. However, my day-to-day job is at a federal level. I have to follow federal laws. So that was a no-no, even though medical was allowed in my state. And I'm not discouraging it. I've thought about it many times. But that's one you'll need to talk to proper doctors, so on. And again, it depends how you react to certain things. One of the things I know some people do, which is a quick double-edged sword, is drinking. Now, I have an allergy, so I'm unable to drink to begin with, which is probably good. With this, I probably would have drank myself stupid, to say the least. The problem is, that's a temporary solution at best. You're still very much going to be in pain, and so on. And that goes into another avenue some people do, which is some of the more, your illegal drugs and such. The problem is, you're guaranteed to get addicted if you go that route with this. Because if you get even the slightest bit of relief, you will focus on whatever that relief is. I mean, at one point, I gave up using certain types of antiperspirants because they used aluminum sulfate, because I was going, maybe it's this chemical which is helping to trigger. I mean, you will find any type of answer to what is causing, and anything that gives you even the slightest bit of relief, you will hyper focus on. So, if at all do not go down the route of go with things that are more trusted, that are supervised by medical professionals. Yeah, some of those can be just as bad, but at least then you are being monitored. There is some help to reverse things if needed. But yeah, you'll focus on the slightest thing that will give you relief. CBD oil, which legal, doesn't have a whatever the chemical in marijuana is that makes everything fun, as it were. I don't know. I've never partaken, sadly. But tried CBD. I had mild success at first with that, along with the medications I was on. That more may just be correlation, because again, it was just happened to be when it was a down period where it wasn't flaring up. But yeah, after a while I was going, yeah, this is doing nothing anymore. But that still took a while to try and test out. So, but, and depending on, sometimes when I was having flare-ups, if I was staying active, which is not easy to do because I had to be inside because wind was a trigger. If I was inside, like using an exercise bike, as long as I was constantly moving, yeah, that helped prevent the flare-ups for that time being. But the moment I needed to take a break, it went to heck again. And that sometimes worked. That was like, oh, every 10th flare-up episode would be one of those where, hey, doing this particular exercise is helping with pain. And, of course, many a sleepless night. Because it's a little hard to sleep when you're constantly having a knife jarring through your face, and shooting you with electricity. And you don't even have the blood to help cool it down. So, yeah, I know this isn't the happiest recording I've done, but just a few of the things I've learned for pain management. I hope this helps with some. I know this, in particular, this condition is horrific. But the best pain management methods, by far, that I've had, have all been surgical in nature. So you essentially have three types. Well, two types in particular. I know there's a third and I'm blanking on it. There's a rhizotomy, and that's with or without radiofrequency ablation. And there's also multiple methods that is done. And then there is surgery for microvascular decompression. That is assuming that your trigeminal neuralgia isn't caused by, say, cancer or muscular sclerosis. Things that, those were fun waiting for test results and the pain is so bad, at one point I was actually hoping it was cancer. Because then I could go, oh, I can point and go, this is this causing it. It's either going to be something that can be treated or it's going to kill me. I'm good either way. No. Now, with radiofrequency ablation, under anesthesia, it's a outpatient procedure. It's essentially a long needle is put into your cheek and run to a pocket near your back of your jaw, where the trigeminal nerve essentially joins up before going into the spinal, the brainstem. It's there they put, I believe it's glycerin, to essentially burn the nerve. For radiofrequency ablation, they also use radiofrequency to heat up the nerve to add a little more burning to assist with. And that's essentially to kill the pain sensation. Of course, it can also kill all sensation, as it can create minor numbness to full-on numbness. One time it numbed my inner ear. That was fun recovery. Well, I recovered. Got sick several times. Now, for older patients who are not capable of handling the sedation to the same degree, or they're more afraid of doing these procedures because of risk of blood clots and so on, they can also use what is referred to as the gamma knife, where it is pinpointed radiation onto the nerve and it essentially does the same thing, where you're burning the nerve just with radiation. Now, the downside of that is it can only really be performed once and twice at most, really, because doing it increases likelihood of gaining cancer. It's a funny thing, radiation does that. That obviously, due to my age, was not something I was aiming towards. It was the fun needle that goes in, and having your wisdom teeth out is much worse than having a rhizotomy. It's going, oh, you wake up, you have a little bandage on your face. I'd never even have a scar from it or anything, because again, it's just one little needle. You'll never know it was there. That worked, but after time you heal, the nerve heals. As weird as that sounds, considering this is all related to nerve damage. And then you're right back to being in pain. Most recent one I've done was the microvascular decompression surgery. That thankfully has an 80% chance of success, which is amazingly high for medicine. But, you know, they are removing part of your skull and working on a nerve next to the brainstem, so bad things can happen to you. Thankfully, I had two specialists who specialized specifically in trigeminal neuralgia working on me, so I was in good hands, came out of it well. Yeah, I still have some flare-ups even to this day. It's only been about 7 months now. But it's night and day. It's going, the pain before, they'll give you the 1 to 10 scale, and mine went up to 23. I mean, I'd gladly have my kneecaps dislocate first. That felt like a tickle in comparison, and I've dislocated both of my knees in my life, fun of being double jointed as well. That's nothing pain-wise. But the pain I currently get after having the decompression surgery, it's going, yeah, I'm having some spasms every now and then, not often, but it's been recent because of some of the smoke and all and weather. And then it's going, oh, this is annoying. It makes it a little hard to talk at times when it's going off, but it's not, oh no, it's just going, I can live with this. It's, if I don't get any better, I am still easily 1,000 times better than I was. So that's good news. But right now I'm still very much into healing. The nerve's healing, and that's why it does weird things on where on the face it was triggering of late. And even when I've been having because it's been very recently I've had the quote-unquote episodes, it doesn't feel anywhere the same. None of the little triggers that I felt where it's kind of like a rubber band kind of stretching and building up momentum to release. I'm not getting any of that. It's just going, It's a little agitated when I do certain things, but nothing is full on causing me severe pain. So that is all the pain management methods I currently know of. I know there's others. I've heard some people have luck with acupuncture. I've never experienced that one. But there's several routes to go. Just try to do the things that are less likely to cause more issues and cause you to be on the 1/4 end of the statistic. So, thank you all for tuning in. Sorry this one was a little heavier. Have a good day. Bye.